so to me, engagement is about the formation of beliefs, or the formation or change of beliefs. And I mean that in a sort of social scientific sense, change of beliefs. Not like I believe one thing one day, another thing the other day, but a new consideration, a new element to how I think about some subject or some people. And when I think of engagement, and most of the work that communication people do, when we talk about engagement, we mean higher level processing. We mean what we call system 2 processing, or central root processing, or what's the other one? Central root, or elaborated processing. So in these dual process models. So when we think about how people process information, system 1 is very fast, heuristic processing. System 2 is that central root, elaborate processing. And so when I think of public engagement activities, I think of engagement activities that were designed to get people to do more than just sort of process peripherally, but to process centrally. And I think, so sometimes what gets conflated is public participation in public engagement. And I think the reason for that is or dialogue in public engagement. Some people will say, well, for have public engagement, there needs to be dialogue. And I don't think that's quite right. But what I think is true is that dialogue is a great way to get people to think centrally. And so the other way to think about this is, so the people who study online engagement, social engagement on media, they talk about this hierarchy of a like versus a share versus a comment, right? And they talk about that as social engagement. And well, what do you think about what's the difference between those things? Well, a like takes very little cognitive engagement, whereas a share takes a little more. You have to think about it a little more probably. And then to comment takes a lot more engagement. And again, it's that cognitive element that I think underlines all of this. And so for me, I'm interested in public participation activities where scientists are interacting with the public, or directly, face-to-face context, or online, or directly with policymakers. I don't actually care. Anytime where a scientist is communicating, I think is an opportunity to foster engagement in a cognitive sense. And to me, that would be public engagement. We're measuring engagement activity. Right? And we're also measuring attitudes, norms, and beliefs around engagement, goals for engagement, objectives for engagement. So we're measuring a lot of things related to engagement. The closest thing, though, I'd say we are to measuring engagement is when we ask about how much are you doing of this, and how much are you doing of that? How willing would you be to do this or that? And that's how much are you willing to take part in face-to-face events? How much are you willing to communicate online? How much are you willing to interact with scientists? How much have you done that? How often? So I would say that one objective of public engagement might be to get somebody interested or motivated to learn more about science, or to seek out scientific information. So that could be that on its own, interest could be an objective. Similarly, identity could be an objective. I want you to believe, if I'm doing good engagement, I want you to believe that I'm not that different than you. Or I want you to believe that, so that would be a shared identity type of thing. Or I want you to believe that you're the type of person who could be a scientist.